or live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Got this text from a listener. I think yours is the only show that talks about politicians at porn movies and minutes later talks about Jesus Christ. Well, we showing our range. That's right.
Don't
you don't get that everywhere. That's exactly right. And it's now we turn our discussion to Jesus, his life, which is, I think I said 4-part series, 8-part television series premiering on the History Channel Monday night, this coming Monday at 7 p.m. Chicago time. And it includes perspectives of Jesus' life as dramatized because they're not available.
Right.
From
people who are closest to him. Like
Joseph, John the Baptist,
Mary.
Judas Iscariot, Peter, Pontius Pilate, Mary Magdalene. And it also features a number of interviews with prominent pastors and Christian scholars, including Joel Osteen, presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, Amy, your church, Michael Curry, and others. And we're pleased to discuss this series a bit more with Dr. Scot McKnight, who's a professor of New Testament at Northern Seminary right here in Lombard, Illinois. World-renowned speaker, writer, and professor, is recognized authority on the historical Jesus, early Christianity, and the New Testament. His blog, Jesus Creed, is a leading Christian blog. Dr. McKnight, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to be with you, Dan and Amy. Good to hear you're bringing up this new set of episodes.
And so give us your perspective on how this will be illuminating for people interested in the life and times of Jesus Christ, as well as just people of faith.
This is the time of year, isn't it, when major networks produce movies, films, interviews, documentaries about Jesus and the Christian faith, in which it seems pretty clear to many people that their object is to debunk the traditional faith of many Christians. This Jesus' Life, a set of episodes, is unlike any of those shows. Instead of debunking, you will find a variety of people, and when you bring up Joel Osteen and Michael Curry, those are two people who aren't normally put together on the same show.
Right.
They are largely and almost overwhelmingly affirming what the Gospels say about Jesus through the lens of these various people who knew Jesus. And so, to me, this is going to be an encouraging set of episodes. Jesus, his life will be, because instead of getting people to figure out that or trying to get people to think that what they believe is wrong, this one is going to be affirmative. It's going to be dramatic. It's beautifully produced. The characters are realistic. We don't have a 6'7" Nordic-looking Jesus. We have a fairly ordinary-looking guy, a little scrawny. His beard isn't all that cool. And that's the Jesus. So it's very realistic. So I was asked to come in to evaluate the scripts, which I was very impressed with. They largely reproduce what's in the Gospels. Mm-hmm. And then I was asked to watch each of the episodes at least one time and flag anything that I thought was wrong.
I got to tell you though, I would love to see Dolph Lundgren as Jesus. I think that would be interesting. But anyway, I'm sorry.
To see who?
Dolph Lundgren.
Who?
Dolph Lundgren. It's a Rocky reference. No, don't worry about it.
Okay, you got me on that one.
So I know that they interviewed Joel Osteen and Michael Curry. Were they on a panel, or was it interviews one-on-one with each of them?
I think what happened, Amy, is they brought these people to New York City, or they went to them wherever they were, and interviewed them just for hours, and then were able to save clips for the various episodes. And overall, the commentary is brilliant, and I thought it was very well done. Some of my friends are on there. People I didn't know well were doing it. Jewish scholars, Christian scholars, but the intent, and I want to emphasize this, is not to debunk what Christians believe, but to dramatize what is in the Gospels. And I think they do an expert job of that.
Interesting. And so the 8-part series, can kind of walk us through. I know it, I mentioned in the trailer displays, you get perspectives from those closest to Jesus, and including, those who betrayed Jesus. But how that aspect of the series and what the takeaway there is, not just in terms of what you believe, but a deeper understanding of sort of that dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, it's the case, isn't it, that when movies are produced or documentaries, whatever, about Jesus, it's about Jesus, and other people around him just sort of fall by the wayside. And what they do in this one is to tell the story of 8 different people who were in one way or another deeply connected with Jesus. I mean, Mary, obvious. Joseph, obvious. Peter, obvious. But people like Caiaphas and Pontius Pilate, and Judas, doesn't get a whole lot of press. These people are not normally part of stories,
right.
But because they tell the story of Jesus through 8 different views, you get, let's say, a core story that is very common, and yet you get different angles on that one person. And one time, I wrote a book called The Jesus Creed, and in that book, I used stories of people around Jesus, and I found this to be very enlightening for audiences and for students to think about Jesus in a different way. Say, what did John the Baptist think of Jesus? People aren't aware that John says things about Jesus, and he seems to be thoroughly confused at times. That sort of perspective is behind everything in this documentary, and I think it is very enlightening and encouraging and affirming. And I can't emphasize enough, I think the drama of each episode is very well done.
Was there tearful? Did you laugh? Did you cry? How did you respond emotionally to it?
I don't think it was ever, I mean, the story about Judas was pretty graphic, and I actually asked him to tone back. Surprising, encouraging, enlightening. Those were the kinds of emotions I had as I watched these shows. I thought that they put into vivid reality things that, as a gospel student and as a professor, I've taught many years, or things like it, and I thought this would be something that would be very useful in classes, be very useful in churches, and I hope pastors especially watch the first next Monday night, and then tell their entire congregations, watch these. These are going to be helpful for all of us.
An interesting comment from Roma Downey, who is married to Mark Burnett and co-produced the series on the Bible, a 10-part miniseries. And of course you remember Roma Downey from Touched by an Angel, which was a CBS show. She's saying there's a real hunger for this kind of material, stories of faith, and she points to the fact that the Bible miniseries from about a half dozen years ago was the History Channel's most popular miniseries ever, and I suppose that even with the increasing seeming secularization of our society, this will be again because people do have the hunger for stories of faith that Roma Downey suggests.
Well, the prediction of skeptics that secularism were going to run religion right off the map of the world has been proven so wrong. The world is filled with religious people all over the world. I mean, different religions are big. And a great professor at Yale, Miroslav Volf, has been talking that religions and and he is a Christian overtly. He says, and Christianity especially has a message for our society that only religion like Christianity can offer to our society. And so, this is one more demonstration. And I think the numbers, I think if people watch it, they're going to be telling all their friends, and the audiences will grow week by week. I think that they will say, History Channel will say, we need to do more of this. And I hope they do.
And I'm looking forward to seeing it. It starts this coming Monday, March 25th, 7 p.m. Chicago time. 8-part series on the History Channel, Jesus, His Life. And our guest has been Dr. Scot McKnight, professor of New Testament at Northern Seminary in Lombard. And again, his blog, Jesus Creed. And as he mentioned, he's also the author of several books, including the Jesus Creed. Dr. McKnight, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
Yes, this is it's 8 parts, but only 4 weeks, correct?
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. 4. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The